All right, good morning, second grade students. Today for language arts, we are going to be talking about the differences between synonyms and antonyms. All right, so when we look at these two pictures, what is the same in these pictures? And then what do you see that is different? So I'll give you a second to take a look at both of these pictures and think of some things that you see that are the same and some things that are different. All right, so we notice in both pictures we have the same animal. So we have a dog. So we know that one thing that both these pictures have in common is that it is the same animal. So we have dogs in both pictures. They're both about the same size, but other than that, everything else is pretty much different. So we see that they are different color dogs, they're different breeds of dogs. And so the reason that we're looking at these pictures is because they kind of go along with synonyms and antonyms that we're going to be learning about today. So you use synonyms and antonyms every day to tell how things are alike and how they are different. So first up, we're going to look at synonyms. So synonyms are words that have the same or similar definitions. So for example, synonyms for the word smart could be intelligent, brilliant, clever, and genius. So basically, if we had the word smart in a sentence, we could take any of these four words and we could interchange them, meaning we could swap out these words and the sentence would still mean the same thing. So if we had a sentence that said like, the boy is smart, we could also put in the word intelligent and say, the boy is intelligent, the boy is brilliant, the boy is clever, or the boy is genius. And it would still mean the same thing as the word smart. And another example that would be synonyms for large could be big, enormous, giant, huge. So again, if we put these words in the sentence, it would still mean the same thing. So let's take a look at an example of which pair are synonyms. The words little and small, or heavy and garage. So we know it's going to be little and small because both of these can mean the same thing. Heavy and garage do not have anything in common with each other. All right, so now let's look at what the opposite of synonym is. So an antonym is a word with the opposite meaning of another word. So some words have only one antonym. So for example, black and white. There's no other words in our English language that we could really use in that situation. So other words have many antonyms. So for example, the word bored. So remember, this is the opposite of bored. So when you're bored, you feel like you don't have anything to do. You're trying to figure out something to do. So some antonyms of the word bored could be excited, thrilled, energized, and wound up. So now let's look at an example of pairs of words and figure out which of the following pairs are antonyms. So number one, we have quiet and loud. And number two, we have house and chair. So for this one, we know it's going to be number one again. It's going to be quiet and loud because they are opposites of each other. So when we're quiet, we might whisper to our friend. And then the opposite would be talking very loudly. So number 2, we know is not an antonym because house and chair are not opposites of each other. We might find a chair in a house, but we can't interchange those words to mean the same thing. All right, so we're going to look at the steps to figure out synonyms and antonyms for words. So number 1, we want to read all of the words in the sentence. And then number 2, we want to think about the meaning of the first word. So do any of the words mean the same thing? And if they do, then remember they are synonyms. So it's easy to remember synonyms as the same because both words start with the letter S. And then do any of these words mean the opposite? And if so, then they are antonyms. All right, so let's look at some more examples. So in our top box, it says choose the best synonym for the following word. So again, remember synonym is the same or similar. So we have kid. So out of these 4 words, we want to find a word that means the same or the similar as kid. So we have man, adult, woman, or child. And we know with kid, we can also interchange it for the word child. Both of these words mean the same thing. Next up, we have the word picture. So we have window, table, photo, and mirror. So we know picture would be the same as a photo or a photograph. All right, and the last one for our top box is carpet. So we have rug, floor, television, or table. So for carpet, we would say floor. So these are almost the same thing. This one's kind of a tricky one because we also could use the word rug because it is similar. We do put a rug on the floor and we do walk on it. We do sit on it like we do with the floor or carpet. So this one could be kind of tricky. We could use almost either one, but we would say floor and carpet would probably be the best synonym for carpet. All right, now let's look at 3 more words, but this time we want to choose the best antonym for the following word. So remember, this time it's opposite. We want to look for the opposite. So first up, we have the word love. So we have war, battle, hatred, year. So remember, we want the opposite of love. And we know that the opposite of love would be hatred. All right, so now we have the word life. So we have pain, disease, happiness, and death. So remember, the opposite of life would be death. All right, and our last practice one is night. So we have late, day, morning, and light. So for night, we know it's going to be morning because morning is in the beginning and the opposite would be night at the end. All right, so that is our lesson for today.